possible. It's not possible. You can't do it. It won't work. How many times have you heard that? I heard it today. I was told by a gardening expert that my garden I cannot have. It's impossible. It won't work to have flowers because I live in the most extreme place in New Zealand. So the flowers aren't going to grow because it's too windy, it's too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, too snowy, too frosty. It just won't work. The soil's bad, Rowie. You can't have flowers. It's impossible. Well, I'm standing here with flowers. I've just planted some roses and some tulips and some sunflowers and some daffodils, my favourite flowers, and I've got a stack of them everywhere. Now, I just found a way. They're not real, but they look amazing. They look so amazing that in the sunflowers, poor little lovies, there's bees in there trying to figure out, they look like sunflowers, they just don't smell like sunflowers, and there's nothing in them that is a sunflower. I'm sharing that with you because I found a way. Now, that's not important, it's just a garden. What about your life? How many people have said to you, you can't do it, it's not possible, it won't work? And did you believe them? And why would you? Everything that's ever been discovered, invented, created, developed, doesn't matter, has once been thought of as impossible. But somebody said, you said it's impossible, but I'm not going to listen to you, I'm just going to find a way. And is it possible that if our brain says, no, you can't, we tell our brain, no, you can't, it then believes it, so then we definitely can't. But if I say to my brain, how can I? What do I need to do? Which is exactly what I did with my garden. I want to have flowers. I want to have bright colours. What do I need to do to make that happen? And I found a way. So the 4 big areas of life, which is what Romax is all about every day. Have you been told, number 1, that it's impossible to be healthy, fit and strong? Have you been told it's impossible to have a career or business that you love? Have you been told that it's impossible to be financially free or financially secure or to be wealthy? Have you ever been told that it's impossible to have kind, respectful people in your life? Or have you lived an example of that where everybody that's come into your life has used you, abused you or treated you badly? And there's a combination of all of those, and some people have had all of those happen and they've believed it. So consequently, they're unhealthy, they have a lousy, stinking, rotten job, they're broke, and they have really crappy people in their life. Well, I, of course, don't want that for anybody, and that's what I'm here for every day, to create the impossible, which is I'm possible. Just a different, I always share this, it's a different emphasis on the syllable. Emphasis on the syllable is impossible. Change it around a little bit and you get I'm possible. So is it possible to be healthy, fit and strong? And of course the answer is yes. If you get puffed, you'll get fit. If you overload your muscles and bones, if you lift heavy, anything, doesn't matter what it is, you'll get strong. And if you're fit and strong, is it possible that your entire body becomes more effective? You become a high performance machine. You have a strong immune system, so you're less likely to get sick. There's less risk of disease, less risk of mental health challenges because you've got a brain that's constantly filled up with dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, brain-derived neurotropic factor, which is fertilizer for your brain. BDNF makes all of those work more effectively, and that pumps when you are fit and strong, when you get puffed or when you lift heavy. So is it possible to be fit, strong and healthy? Yes, you just have to make the decision to do it. Is it possible to have a career or business that you love? And this is where I have a bit of a joke, because you might have been told you're too young, too old, too short, too tall, too fat, too skinny, too inexperienced, you don't have enough money, you're not smart enough. Here's my favourite one. You can't be a rock star because you can't sing. As I joke, and it's a joke, but it isn't, because how many times have we watched a concert, been to a concert, watched a video, we know the person can't sing, or we even know that they're not singing, they're miming. But we still dance and sing and have a great time anyway because they're great entertainers, or we just want to be there because it's a great environment. So is it possible to have a career or business that you love? Of course. Training, education, learning. You might have to do some of those, but time's going to pass you by anyway, so why not learn? I always consider this, let's pick something, dancing. I could say I'm not good at dancing, or I could say I'm going to start dancing today, and if I dance every day with discipline, focus and commitment, could I get good at it? The answer is yes, because if you've ever watched Dancing with the Stars, there are people who can't dance, and by the end of the show they can dance, they learn how to do it. Anything that you put an effort into with passion and enthusiasm, focus, commitment and discipline, is it possible that you'll be able to do it? So can you have a career or business that you love? Of course. I get a little bit annoyed on a daily basis because I have students at the International College, our business college and our fitness college. People say to them, you can't have a successful business. in fitness as an exercise professional, as an online fitness business. You can't have a boot camp. You can't be a successful personal exercise coach. Well, that's just not true, because there's thousands of them, if not millions. At our house, it's interesting because K-Man, who is yes, he's an exercise physiologist, and yes, he's an exercise health scientist, and yes, he's trained elite athletes, and yes, he's a world champion. But he was told it was impossible, not possible, never going to happen. Nobody in Australia is ever going to have a personal trainer. That's for Americans and elite athletes. And he had the first personal training business in Australia. He started the first education process, of course, for helping people to become what we called then personal trainers, we now call personal exercise coaches. And 30 plus years later, the world is now full of personal trainers, personal exercise coaches, fitness businesses, gyms, personal training studios, the whole bit. But it was once considered impossible. Now it's not only possible, it's normal. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that something to consider? That once something was considered impossible, then it became possible, then somebody did it because they proved it was possible, and then it becomes normal. Well, could you be the person that creates that process? Find the thing that everyone else says is impossible. Why not do it, give it a crack anyway? And that's the beautiful thing about the brain. If you say, I can't do it, of course you can't do it. Your brain says, no, you said you can't. I believe you. But if you ask your own brain, how can I? Is it possible? Not impossible. Is it possible that your brain will find a way for you to do it? And of course the answer is yes. Financial freedom, security, wealth is a really simple process. Out of all the things in life that people have the most stress about, which is usually money, creating wealth is the easiest one. You just get a plan, you stick to the plan, you're disciplined, you spend less than you earn, and you can become financially free. That one's easy. The only one that gets a little bit complicated with the possible versus impossible is the personal relationships, the relationships with other people. Because we don't have control over those, do we? What other people do and what they say and how they act and how they treat us, we probably don't have any control over. But we have full control over, isn't this exciting, about how we respond or react to them. So people can be mean and nasty, and you've heard this, oh, that person's just impossible. Well, they will be if that's what you say. What if you say, how can I deal with that negative person? How can I deal with that confrontation? How can I deal with that horrible situation? And is it possible, not impossible, that if you are healthy, fit and strong, you've got mentally tough and strong brain, you've got BDNF, brain-derived neurotropic factor, in your brain constantly, fertilising your brain so that you can think more clearly and creatively, that you will be able to deal with negative people, with difficult situations more effectively. So it's all possible. I'll ask again, can you be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that you love, be financially free and have great people in your life? Could that be a choice? And if it's a choice, could we make it possible rather than saying that it's impossible? And I'm here every day for that reason, because I deal with people every day who come to me and say, my family, my friends, my parents, my partner, they've told me that it's impossible for me to have a business that will be successful or profitable. Or I've been told it's impossible to have a successful online fitness business. Or I've been told it's impossible to be an engineer. Well, the interesting thing about anything that you want to do, most of the things that you want to do have already been done. So here's a great question. If somebody else has done it, the only question should be, well, how can I do it? What do I need to change, do differently to make it happen? If it's never been done before and you actually believe that it's impossible, we probably need to talk to, read about, listen to the people that created aeroplanes and computers and electricity and printing presses and cars and all the things that were once considered impossible that we now take for granted. They were impossible. Somebody said, let's give it a crack. They became possible. They became real. And then they became normal. And I'd love to be part of that process, which is why I have an international fitness and business college, so that when people come to me, it's never, that's impossible. It's all right, how are we going to do it? What do we need to learn? What information do we need to get? What help do we need to get? What stretch of the imagination do we need to go to? So rather than I can't, it's how can I? And I really think that's one of the most important questions ever. If you say I can't, you can't. But if you say, how can I? Is it possible that your human brain will open up and find ways for it to be possible? I think that's really exciting. I would love you to live your life to the max. I would love you to be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that you love, be financially free and have great people in your life. But that is a choice. So I can't make it possible for you. You have to make it possible for yourself. So it's not impossible. It's just, I'm possible. How do I need to do it? What do I need to do to make it happen? So that every single day, whether somebody tells you or not, you can't have flowers in your garden, Rowie, you'll be able to say, hell, of course I can have flowers in my garden. Look at Rowie, she's planted roses today. They just happen to be made of metal. She's planted tulips and sunflowers today. They just happen to be made of something that's going to last a lot longer than flowers probably. And I can't wait to enjoy my flowers every day, even though somebody said that's impossible. I feel good, because I've got a beautiful garden full of flowers. Woohoo!